Look at, an insurance scheme was set up for health workers, which could not be executed if the insurers defaulted. How can that even be? You see things given to traditional rulers who cannot account for the money. How can that be? The more you go into this report, the more you see that all the questions that were being asked at the outset when COVID started as to the expenditure has not been dealt with earlier on, simply because there was more going on and on and on in the background. So anytime a question was asked, it was pushed. And like you heard Minta Akanda say, there are a lot more questions to be asked that do not fall within the remit of the Auditor General. And the more questions you ask, the more mess you see. What if not is a facade? We were pulled a smoke screen, things were done in the dark, and suddenly we are finding out the gravity of the mess. And I heard your colleague say 3.1 billion US dollars. Now we are going for 3 billion from the IMF. Meanwhile, you read the report and it says only 25% of that 3.1 billion was actually used in the fight against COVID. 75% was spent at the discretion of government. And then when you look at that 25%, you also see the amount of sleaze and anomalies that the Auditor General has identified, which tells you that less than 20% of those monies were actually used to fight COVID. Meanwhile, we are being told that this is the expenditure that has sent our economy down the drain and has led us to the IMF. In those expenditures, you can also see they are talking about COVID bonds that were sold to us. Now we are being told that there should be a debt exchange program because those bonds cannot be honored. What is a facade, Evans? And these are the reasons why I'm saying that this was a huge smoke screen to actually plunder the state. And I don't take anything away from what I said there.
So we've had the both the chairman and the ranking on the Parliamentary Committee on Health say next week, the 7th of February, they're beginning a public hearing. What do you make of that process? Should we leave Parliament to... Of course, this is an Auditor General's report, so eventually Parliament will have to deal with it. But then there's also another committee that's going to look into it before the Public Accounts Committee gets its bite. Would you recommend that to be the process of getting finality and closure to this? Or there should be more done to this particular issue?
We cannot even continue this whole thing where no one is held to account. All these reports come out, people read it, we shout, and that's the end of it. People have to be held accountable for these monies.